when I was 10, 11 years old, you know, and 12 years old, uh, I used to cut grass. Got a lawnmower, take my lawnmower around the city, cut grass. I used to go to the car wash right down the street, wash people tires for them, scrub their white walls for them, vacuum out. Even in the wintertime, a lot of people didn't want to get out the car. I got your tires, man. I'll vacuum the car for you. You ain't got to do nothing, man. And I was making money, man. I had a nice little hustle going on in the city, man. And we moved so far away, man. I wasn't nowhere. No, all the hustle was out the picture. I'm just there, like, we were the first person in the projects. We were the first family to move in. So obviously, being a social family we are, we kind of helped everybody move in and introduced ourselves. We met everybody and became befriended a lot of people along the way, off the top. So the community, we became a community. We became a community instantly, because of the love we shared, and embracing and open arms with everybody. Because this is us. This is our hood, So we wanted to be, let them know we got love for all y'all up in here. Because we up in here together. This is us. This is who we are. Horn Lake Heights. You know what I'm saying? That's who we are. And then you had the I can't remember Cyper Woods, another little kind of small project development like ours, was a little, maybe a block or two down the road, and we had it in the schools on the other side of them. So they was a new development, we was a new development, so we had to so quite naturally, we had to cross state turf to get to school, but we wasn't no joke. We wasn't no joke, man. We was cool. We was a cool people in our community. When you cross that line, there's a thin line, they say, between love and hate. You cross that line and make us go there on some hater shit, you don't want to see it you don't want it like that. You don't want it like that. To go from the extreme love to hate on your 100, 0 to 100 on your butt, you don't want it like that. Because that's where we coming from. We coming from a long way of compassion, and love. We coming a long way, but as we come, we picking up speed and momentum. And when we get on the other side, we moving shit, out the way. Get out the way, y'all, get out the way. You know what I'm saying? We moving stuff, for real. So, they used to try to challenge us, so we one thing we knew, at the end of the day, you gotta come to school too. Yeah, we let you run us to school. Chase us to school, chase us up the street, make us run past y'all and run us to school. But when we got to school, and you came up in there, it was on. We just sit back and waited on you. You gotta come to school. You gotta come to school. We're finna turn it out. And after that, they like, these motherfuckers crazy. We might well join forces with these motherfuckers. We thought we had the motherfuckers bullied when they ran to school. They motherfuckers up there waiting on us. We up there waiting on us, man. On the beat down, we ain't playing. When you come back, motherfucker, we ain't running no more, homeboy. We ain't running no more. We walk on the sidewalk on the edge of the project. We got Cooler and joined forces. Cypresswood and Horn Lake eventually joined forces in love and community. We was able to go through the middle of that motherfucker and take a short path straight to our motherfucking hood. It was all love, you know. So, but that's how it, that's how it is. That's how human beings are. I'm quite sure, in developing worlds where they still got tribes and stuff like that, either you come together or you got to earn your space. Especially if you're a nomadic tribe, you moving around, you got to earn your space because you might be on somebody's spot, territory, man. They're like, hey, man, you can't park up here. You can't camp out up here, man. You ain't ask nobody. Dude, like, man, whatever. But anyway, I was heartbroken, man, that I couldn't become a musician, man. I was really excited, man, about learning music, man. I was so excited. I was excited. I'm telling you, I've been one of the greatest musicians in the world. I'm telling you that right now. At that moment in my life, had the tide turned, and altered my course, to learn music from that music instructor, become a musician. I've been one of the greatest musicians the world ever known, renowned over. Because when I feel something, I'm in it like that, all in. I was all in. I wasn't so much all in the books. But when I heard the sound of that music coming through that instrument, and I was able to hear that jingle that I created, following the notes that he gave me, it was over. It was over. And they killed it. Bam! We moved. Shortly thereafter, we moved, man. My excitement was killed. Bam! Off the rail. It seemed like that was the story of my motherfucking life. Excuse me, but it seemed like that was the story of my life, man. Every time I found something of interest, somebody in the family was some mysteriously kind of way kill it. I smile to keep from crying. I'm just keeping it real with y'all, man. I smile on this camera to keep from crying. Because I live this stuff, man. I live this stuff. This stuff hurt me, man. This stuff profoundly altered my life and messed my life up forever. On the one hand, and maybe in societal terms, but in my own term, it made me the man I am today. It made me a strong man, a survivor, a strong survivor. I can survive anything. And that's one of my greatest attributes in life. I'm a survivor. I can pretty much survive anything. I haven't lived much life in my lifetime, but I've survived some heroic, challenges, many heroic challenges in my life. I survived. We'll get to some of those coming up. So as we move from the big house, and my desire for music was diminished, squashed. We moved into the projects. I'm 13 now, the age of 13. I want to give you a little glimpse I'm going to, since we're moving into the second decade, we made that transition from the 10th into the 11th, so we're in the second decade now. But I want you to know this off the rip. From the age of 13 to 18, those 6 years, I was in and out of the youth home. My whole adolescent, pretty much my whole adolescent life. Every year, I was in a youth home. Yeah. At 13, I went to Somerville, Tennessee. It was a co-ed for kids, teenagers, young teenagers. And my first, when I got there, and this is probably a trip you out, when I got there, and they booked me in and took me to my room and to my dorm. They took me to my room, man, and it was a bed in there. And you know what? For the first time in my life, since I had moved, since my mother had abandoned me, for the first time, since I had moved down south and made that transition, I had a bed of my own. I looked around. I had a dresser, a desk, rather, with a chair. And guess what? It was all mine. And I turned around, and there was a locker that I could store my stuff in. And you know what? It was all mine. For the first time in my life, I had a room to call my own. And it was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing. And then I could walk out of my room into the community area. We got pool tables, and ping pong tables, and TV. And tables where you can go out if you want to and play cards and stuff like that. Wow. It was like Disney World. It was so wonderful. I had access to all these amenities. They even had a movie theater. And on the weekend, our counselors would take us to see a movie. I have never went to a movie in my life.